Hello and welcome to Cooking from Food Storage. I'm Rebecca from StockingMyPantry.com. In today's episode, I'm cooking chicken basil from the book 100 Day Pantry by Jan Jackson. So let's get right to it. First, let's go over the list of ingredients. It calls for 6 ounces of pasta, and I'm using egg noodles. And I didn't have a 6-ounce package of noodles, so I researched it, and it looks like 6 ounces of egg noodles is about 1.5 cups, so that's what I have here. A 14-ounce can of chicken broth. It calls for a 10 to 15 ounce can of chicken. This is 12.5 ounces. A 15-ounce can of carrots drained, and I'm using a pint of my home canned carrots, but you can use carrots from the grocery store. It says to drain them, but I'm not going to, and I'll explain that in just a moment. A 6-ounce jar of mushrooms, undrained, optional. A 15 to 20 ounce jar of Alfredo sauce. This is 16 ounces. A 1/2 cup of dried broccoli. A tablespoon of basil, and salt and pepper to taste. Okay, so let's go over the directions and talk about a couple of tweaks that I'm going to make. You'll see that it says simmer pasta in broth until softened, stirring occasionally, add remaining ingredients and heat through. So one thing unique about this book, if you haven't seen my review on it, is that you don't even need water or anything to make these recipes. They're intended to be made exactly from your food storage without you adding any water or anything else to it. You use the liquid in the cans to cook your food. Okay, so you might think, well, how do you cook pasta in just a can of broth? But it does work. But what I'm concerned about is that this recipe also calls for this 1/2 cup of dried broccoli, and there's no instructions on rehydrating it first. And I'm afraid that if I just add it in with the other things and heat through, that it won't be rehydrated properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the chicken broth and the noodles into a pot, and it says to drain the carrots. Well, I'm going to actually put the juice from the carrots, the liquid from the carrots, into the pot and add the broccoli in with the noodles, so that while I'm simmering the noodles, I'm also rehydrating the broccoli. Okay, so that's really the only change that I'm going to make to this recipe. Now, it's possible that it'll turn out too soupy, too watery, but I'd rather have that than it being too dry and the broccoli not being hydrated properly. Okay, let's get to cooking. Okay, we're going to start off by putting the broth into the pan and the noodles. And again, according to the recipe, this is all that I would do at this point. And it doesn't look like there's a whole lot to cook the noodles in. We're used to just, obviously having a pot full of boiling water, but this is enough broth to cook those noodles. Now, as I said, the change that I'm going to make is I'm going to add the juice from the carrots. And I'm going to put the carrots aside for now. And I'm going to add the broccoli. And I'm going to simmer it until the noodles are done and the broccoli is hydrated. Now you can see that I did crush up some of the broccoli because I was thinking about first just making it according to the instructions without hydrating the broccoli first, but I decided that I wanted some actual pieces of broccoli. But the broccoli, when it's dry, you can just crumble it up with your hands if you didn't want to add in more juice or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this up to a boil, and then I'll turn the heat down and simmer it until the pasta is done and the broccoli is rehydrated. Okay, you can see that the pasta is boiling, the water is boiling, and the pasta is simmering. The package on the egg noodles say that they take about 7 minutes to cook, so I'm just going to kind of play it by ear and simmer it until the pasta is done. And considering that I wasn't even supposed to rehydrate the broccoli according to the recipe, I'm sure that the broccoli will be adequately rehydrated. Hopefully not mushy. That's the only thing that I'm a little concerned about. So I may adapt that over time and not simmer it the entire time in the broth the next time I do this. But I'll let you know what I think when I get to that point. So I'll bring you back when the pasta is done and we will continue from there. Okay, so the pasta has cooked through and the broccoli is rehydrated. So now I'm going to add the additional ingredients. We'll start off by adding in the chicken. And that calls for it to be undrained. And again, I may end up with more juice than I want, but I'd rather have that and have everything hydrated properly. You can always cook down the juice a little bit if you want. Okay. Okay, I'm going to add in my carrots, the mushrooms, and that is optional. So if you don't like mushrooms, you can leave them out. The Alfredo sauce, and I'm hoping I have a big enough pot, but I think I do. You know, it's kind of funny because I was thinking about the pot size and I didn't want the pot to be so wide, so big across, that then my broth that I put in wasn't deep enough to cook the pasta. So that's kind of what I was thinking about there, is, you know, the size of the pot for the pasta and broth ratio to work out right. Okay, so that is the Alfredo sauce. I've already got the broccoli in. It calls for a tablespoon of basil. Because after all, it would not be basil chicken without the basil. And salt and pepper to taste. So I've just got a dash of pepper and probably about a half a teaspoon of salt. You can always add more salt in if you would like. And I'm just going to stir it and heat it through. Okay, now this is coming out more like a soup than a casserole, and I suspect that part of that is because I put the juice in from the carrots. I didn't drain the carrots, and I had a fair amount of juice in there. But again, that's just sort of a matter of preference. I could have put the liquid in from the carrots and drained the mushrooms and so on. But I'm going to go ahead and heat this through, and then I'll give a taste test and let you know what I think. Okay, you can see it's now bubbling nicely. I took a bite of one of the big chunks of carrots. It was heated all the way through. So I'm going to consider this heated all the way through, as it said. And you can see that it is more like a soup. It's possible this should have been more like a casserole. So I'm going to talk about a couple of variations. One, I could have drained the carrots like they said. I could have also drained the other things, the chicken, the mushrooms, things like that, and added in a little bit of liquid and stirred it until it was the right consistency that I wanted. Also, I want to talk about the vegetables in it. It calls for canned carrots, but let's say you don't like carrots, but you like peas or you like green beans, or that's what you have on hand. I would definitely say that that is a variation that you could make. You could swap out one vegetable for another. One other thing that I want to mention before I give it the taste test is that, especially since it does have this much liquid, I think that you could add in more pasta and have it stretch a little bit further, feed more people, and also just have it be more filling. Okay, now let's do the taste test. Okay, I have a bowl of it here, and I'll probably take a couple of bites so that I can taste multiple flavors. I want to take a bite with some chicken in it. Okay, this is actually very good in my opinion. It does have a strong basil taste. No surprise considering it has a tablespoon of dried basil in it. But I like basil. If you don't like basil, you might want to try something else, a different herb, or cut back on it. Maybe use a teaspoon instead of a tablespoon of basil. But I am definitely going to be making this again. And since I like soup, it's fine that it's soupy. But like I say, you could adjust this pretty easily by using some of the juices from the can, but not all. You could also put in more pasta and things like that. But overall, I would consider this a success. I'll be adding this as to my list of pantry meals and make sure that I always have the ingredients on hand to make it at least 2 or 3 times. So I hope that you found this helpful. If you did, I would appreciate it if you would like this video, and of course if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.